Falling in love with the process is one of those key indicators that you're going to have a successful career in whatever you choose. Uh, it's one of those things, you fall in love with the process, you put the work in, and everything else around that is going to be a symptom of that. The successes, the PRs, the progress that we experience, it's all going to be a symptom of our love of the process, putting the work in. I think it's not a secret that you guys know that I'm a basketball fan. My first love in sports was basketball. Played junior basketball from 10 years old all the way to 20. To this day, I follow the NBA, and some of you guys would know the NBA finals are on right now. Just before I started recording this video, I watched a video of Steve Kerr pre-game 5 press interview, whatever you want to call it, and he shared a story which I found was profound. It kind of resonated with me. He told the story of Roger Federer speaking to the locker room, speaking to the group when they were in China, exhibition game or whatever they were doing there. And Draymond Green, one of the players from the Warriors, asked Roger, how have you sustained this type of success, this type of career for 20 years? How have you been, continue to do this for such a long time? And Roger basically said, I love this. I love the process. Automatically that resonated with me because, we've seen so many athletes come and go in all these different sports. And it's the guys who put in the work. It's the guys that, enjoy the process of training, enjoy being on the court, in the gym, on the field. It's the guys that actually genuinely love what they do. That's what keeps you coming back, because eventually you're gonna reach a peak of your career. You're gonna reach a stage where you've kind of gotten to a level where you're never gonna come back up. Roger was that maybe, I don't know, 5-10 years ago, something like that. I don't even know when his prime was, but he spent X amount of weeks on number one. He's never going to go back to that. For a lot of people, that is very disheartening, knowing that you're never going to better that period of your life. But if you love the process, you're not going to quit on that downward journey from that hill, from that peak. I genuinely feel happy being in the gym. I genuinely feel this inner peace, having the barbell in my hands and me training. It's something special about it, and I can foresee myself doing this very, very, very long. You guys know, it's 24 days in a row of squatting every day. This doesn't come from a forceful mentality where, I have to make 1,000. To be honest with you, I don't really care what the number is, man. I'm just fortunate enough. I'm blessed. I'm so happy that I've been able to do this every single day for 924 days. A lot of people, when they first meet me, they're like, "Oh, you're going for 1,000. You're going. What are you going for? When does it stop?" The reason I stop, man, unless something stops me, I want to do this continuously. I want to do this. This is fun for me. Everything else around that is a side effect. The strength that comes from my training is a side effect. I'm not here because I want to squat X amount of, that's my primary goal. No matter what, the numbers matter. I'm not like that. I'm just here because I love to train. I love to train. And my dream as a kid was to be a professional NBA basketball player. When that kind of fell through and I realized I wasn't good enough, there was a period of a couple of years where I didn't really have a focus. I was kind of lost. I didn't have that passion for anything. It was, I was going to nursing school. I started nursing, but nothing really, I didn't fancy anything. Like, I didn't have a hobby. I thought I liked cars, and I do like cars, but I don't want to be under a car, 16 hours a day. I don't want to be reading manuals of how to change this, how to change that. I like the cars, but I don't really like it that much. With weightlifting, with training, if my body could recover, I would do 16 hours a day if I could somehow manage that. So I love that. That to me is, I feel like I'm lucky that I found that. One of the things that got me into this type of training is the Bulgarians. I kind of fell in love with training, and then I heard them, even Abajev, I heard them, how they train, and I thought, Jesus, that must be freaking fun. They are training all the time. It was kind of the first time that I thought this is really possible. You can really have fun every single day. And that kind of sparked this interest in me. It all started with the Bulgarians. It sparked, okay, I can do this every day. It's not, Monday's leg day. They have to wait a whole another week for another Monday. Like, that to me wasn't, I don't know, extreme enough. It wasn't intimate enough. I wanted to do something all the time. I wanted to get better at it. So when I found that, I kind of started with that. And you guys know, day one of the squat every day was basically work up to some sort of training max. I started off really slow. Start off with something heavy, come down for a couple of doubles, triples, or something like that. I started really slow, but I generally thought you could hit some heavy weights and you would just progress through, getting your volume through frequency of these heavy weights. I literally thought that was the case. And so for a very, very long time, I didn't see a change in my body. I didn't see anything. It was just like, I'm just going through this and I'm going to get stronger. My body's going to stay the same because I never feel a pump. I never feel anything. I kind of fell in the love of the process of doing that. And then the hip pain came around. Hip pain came around, showed me that, there's something amiss here. This program is not meant to be, run like that. And I wasn't even running the Bulgarian program like the Bulgarians were running it. I was running it like watered down version, completely watered down. You can't even call it Bulgarian. It's just inspired by Bulgarian. Nevertheless, I kept going with the squat every day, and somehow I stumbled upon the 20 rep program and I started doing more reps, and I had a really good period. I felt my body change a little bit. I had more endurance in me. My legs grew a little bit. And then I went away from that for whatever reason. I think hip pain came back again. And I went away from it. And now in the last probably 3-4 weeks, I've come back to high rep training. And once again, I'm feeling my body change again. And like the title of the video, today's video says leg reveal. I'm going to show you what my legs look like, what my body looks like. I am not a bodybuilder. I want to say that straight off the top. I am not a bodybuilder. I don't get inspired by looking at, physiques. I don't get inspired by, getting bigger. Once upon a time I did. I wanted to look a certain way, but I didn't really have the knowledge that I have now. I was kind of fresh. I didn't really know what I wanted. Everyone was kind of doing bodybuilding. Like, seems like 90% of the gym does that. Chases this physique, shredded, bigger, all that stuff. For me, that doesn't fancy me at all. What fancies me is the aesthetic, lifting, strength, flexibility, mobility, seeing Klokov 250 front squat, seeing Clarence Kennedy do that pause squat at 300. These type of events sparked my interest. It was a performance-based thing. It wasn't a aesthetic bodybuilding subjective-based thing. I wanted to feel like I'm getting my level up. My power is growing as a human mover, right? Movement training rather than eyeball, illusion, aesthetic training. The reason why I did the leg reveal, I guess, in this video is because I think it is important. Now, I've kind of been resistant to a lot of you guys suggesting, take more pictures of your body, show us what you worked for and whatever. And I've always kind of been, I know exactly how I look like. And I didn't want to sell this image that I'm a bodybuilder. I'm not a bodybuilder. I couldn't really care how I look. I want to be healthy. I don't want to have a big gut. But I always knew that my body wasn't all that impressive. It was just like, especially when you consume social media in this industry, man, guys are jacked. Guys are completely looking not like me, and I train a lot, albeit I'm not bodybuilding, but I train a lot and I'm not looking like that. My body fat is not sub 10%. It's probably closer to 20%, if not even more. So I never really, not that I'm shy, I came from basketball, right? For the majority of my training career in basketball, we'd play skins and shirts, right? 2 teams scrimmaging at the end. And so I'm quite comfortable in my body. It wasn't even about that. I'm not shy and nothing like that. But I didn't want that to be kind of a focal point. Oh, Ivan, the squat every day thing doesn't work because look at you, your skinny ass legs, it's not working. It's not about that. I'm not bodybuilding. This is not a program for bodybuilders. For me, I wanted, efficiency, skill, proficiency, technique, strength, and movement. Full range of motion movement with a lot of weight on your back. front rack, whatever we're doing, deadlifting. That's what I want it to be. And eventually I kind of developed this idea of, it sounds pretty cool to me to be even considered as a sleeper. Oh, this guy walks in the gym with these baggy track pants. He's got this NBA top. He doesn't look like anything, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden there's 6 wheels on the bar and I'm deadlifting 260. Like, to me, that is awesome. That is like seeing Steph Curry. If you didn't know Steph Curry and he walked past you at the shopping center, you're like, oh yeah, he's just a guy. Maybe, what is he, 6'3", he's not that tall. Unless you watched him play, you wouldn't realize he's one of the best players in the game, right? The guy's got this incredible ability to shoot the ball. And you can't visually see that. Whereas if you saw Yao Ming, you look at him, and even the guy who's never seen basketball, oh man, he's a basketball player. Look how big he is. It's kind of like that kind of feel. But now that I've come back to this high rep training, once again, I'm feeling amazing. I'm feeling the strength come on. I'm hitting PRs all the time, and my body is changing. And so I thought it would be a good idea for myself, and I'm sharing it now with you guys as well, because I think it's interesting to see how my body will change. And I've spent, 3 weeks of doing these bodyweight squats, doing a lot of front squats, and I feel like I've put mass on my legs, right? You'll see the images at the end of this video. It's not impressive looking. So even if you take away the last 3 weeks, it's even less, mass in those legs. And I was able to move 210 kilos. I was able to deadlift 260 and all these things I did before I started bodybuilding, if you will, parameters. So I think it's really good idea for me to throw this out there, show you guys what I don't want to say the beginning is, because it's not the beginning, because it's kind of like the end, right? After 900 days, this is what this dude looks like. Well, now there's going to be a change in training. For the foreseeable future, I'm going to be chasing these reps. I'm going to be chasing these breathing squats. Like the training has changed dramatically in the last 3 weeks. The focus is different. I was talking to a friend at the gym. We were talking about, just generalities of how to get stronger and whatever. And we both came to the conclusion that really powerlifting, especially on a natural level, is very akin to bodybuilding. It doesn't sound great to me because we're not aesthetic athletes, but we need to spend a lot of time with high reps. This is what bodybuilding is, right? Bodybuilders spend a lot of time with high reps. They're building their tissues up. I think the only difference between bodybuilding and powerlifting is that the powerlifters have these specializations, squat, bench, deadlift, that we kind of max out on. Basically, this is how I view it. You can call it power building or you can call it whatever you want. But if you are a natural athlete, I think you are best served to stay away from spending too much time with super heavy weights. Sets of doubles, triples, fives. That's all well and good if you're peaking if you're kind of in a block periodization, each block is kind of getting heavier and heavier and the volume is getting less and less. You can do that. But in my mind, I'm thinking to myself that 80-20 split. We talked about it the other day with that runner from, I think he's from Kenya or Ethiopia. Where's he from? Kipchoge. The man is like, I think he's the greatest of all time marathon runner. He's incredible. Like, you see him run, it's like, art. It is art the way this man runs. And he spends 80-20, right? He spends 80% of his training doing light stuff, just basically going for a jog where he can talk to the fella running next to him. So, his breathing is not that constrained. And then 20% of his training time is spent, getting after it, doing, I don't know what the parameters are with running. I'm not a runner, but he does that. So I almost feel like we can take that same formula and apply it to bodybuilding or training. Spend 80% with high reps and then 20% with the heavy stuff. And I think the body wants that. The body needs that. At the end of the day, you need muscle, but also you need technique. So the way I'm kind of thinking about it is every single day come in, play your sport, hit a training max or some sort, something heavy that's going to make you a proficient mover of that heavy weight. And then head back down and spend the 80% of that training period for that day doing high rep stuff. I think that is the success for me. I've kind of felt it before with that understanding what was going on. Now I've kind of come around full 360 and I really feel high reps are the way to go. Whoever I meet at the gym now, whoever kind of bumps into me You know, they're like, oh, Ivan, you know, I've only recently learned about you. You got a really kind of unique training training methodology. What do you think is the best for somebody like me? I'm 6 months in, blah, blah, blah. And the majority of time I tell people, just get your reps in, man. Just get your reps in. Don't even worry about like that high weight stuff. You know, spend 6 months time, a year, just chasing those 8s, 10, 12s and plus. And just really learn, because you know the chances of you getting hurt is much less with 8s, 10s, 12s and up, right? As long as you leave a few reps in the tank, obviously, you know, they're, you know, snapping your spine over the last rep, I think you're going to be in good stead. Even like me, I'm, you know, squatting 210 or whatever, like, I still feel there's benefit to that. You know, doing bodyweight squats are making me feel incredible. Doing bodyweight squats led me to squat, you know, the PR of a front squat. It's making me squat a PR in the back squat. Like, these things are all happening because I'm just increasing my volume, cheap volume that I can recover. I can go back tomorrow and hit it again. And on top of all of that, I'm building muscles that I've never built doing these low rep, you know, 10 singles at freaking 85, 90%. I've done that plenty of time in the last 900 days with very little benefit to it, other than maybe some achy joints that night or whatever, and it just all kind of locks up. I get really tired, loss of appetite. I'm just lethargic. Whereas with blood work, I'm calling it blood work, pump work, you just feel great, man. You feel great, you feel energetic. You know, it's nice to feel my legs are, you know, swollen. It's nice to feel like my legs are growing. You know, I truly feel, you know, the way forward. I don't even know if I understand this term properly. Power building. This combination of both. I'm not somebody that's going to jump on the machines and do a lot. I'm not a bodybuilder in that sense. I'm just using those parameters of, you know, using the squat, bench, deadlift in the bodybuilder kind of sense of load. So heaps of high reps, heaps of volume. That part of bodybuilding I like. I don't like, you know, doing flies and bicep curls and this way, that way. 16 exercises to hit the biceps. I'm not talking about that part of bodybuilding. So when I say power building, I really don't want to be misleading. It's just purely, you know, Bulgarian training infused with a bit of bodybuilding. You know, so Bulgarian-inspired stuff, except we just throw in a whole lot of volume at the end, like cheap volume. It's more kind of like West Side. You know, West Side did a lot of that. So they come in, they do their speed day, max day, whatever, and then they spend like 30, 40 minutes just doing bodybuilding, essentially. That's what I think the key is. Anyway, I'm happy I've done this video. I'm happy that I've showed you what I look like. And let's see in a few months' time if my body changes slightly. Obviously, I'm a natural person, so I'm not going to be slapping on huge amounts of muscle like Tom Platz or whatever. It's not going to be like that, but it's going to be interesting to see if my body changes as I continue to, you know, chase this high repetition work. On that note, I want to mention Joseph Sperber. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. He's the latest name on the list, of the Patreon list. Appreciate you, man. Means a lot, man. It really means a lot to have the support, not only in the comments and the views, but also you going a step further and actually supporting me to do this more often and spend more time doing this. So appreciate you. Appreciate everyone else on the Patreon list and also in the comments. You guys are inspiring. You guys are definitely putting fuel to the fire, and it's making it a lot easier for me to do these videos and share my experience in this squat everyday journey. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.